right, this is a screencast for Chapter 10. We're actually doing the first section today, but Chapter 10 and 11, we're just picking and choosing which topics that we do, because this is usually at the end of the year, and we're just trying to review some things, or they're just some quick things that we can do, which kind of makes the end of the year nice. So the first section we're doing is 10.1a, which is measures of central tendency, which has a whole fancy name, but it's really talking about mean, median, and mode. And we're going to throw in range also, because range is also something we use when we're looking at data. It's just range is not considered a measure of central tendency, so we'll include a little bit of range, because it's just subtraction anyway. All right, so some vocab. Measures of central tendency, those are numbers that describe the center of a data set. So you have a long list of numbers, and the measures of central tendency are just a way to describe the numbers that you have in that set. And you're usually talking about the center. The mean, in other everyday words, that's the average. You're taking all of your data and dividing by the number of items that are in that set. So that's probably the most common, like when you get your test back, a lot of times you always ask, what's the average? What's the average? It's really a mean that you're talking about. Median is the middle. So the middle number of data when ordered from least to greatest. So you put your numbers in order if they're not already, and then you count from each end and figure out which one's in the middle. Mode is the one that occurs the most often. So, for example, when you guys take your test, I can get all of these measures of central tendency from the computer, from the programming, and it will tell me the mean, median, and mode. Sometimes there's a mode, sometimes there's not. And the numbers do give us information about the average, about what the middle number might be. Now for tests, it's really nice if they're close to each other, the mean and the median. And the mode, sometimes we have one, sometimes we don't, but it does give you information about the numbers. All right, so for our first example, it says the ages and years of the actors in a play are 5, 16, 32, 15, 26, and 32. We want to find the mean, median, and mode of the data set. So the mean, we're going to add up all the numbers. So 5 plus 16 plus 32 plus 15 plus 26 plus 32. Okay, so even though we have two 32s, we still add it twice. And then you divide by how many you have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And making sure that I actually have 6 numbers in the numerator there. And you are allowed to use a calculator for this. So if you add 5 plus 16 plus 32 plus 15 plus 26 plus 32, and then divide by 6, you should get 21. All right, so that's the mean. The median, we're putting them in order. Let me switch colors. I don't care for this color very much. So I want to put them in order first. So I have 5 is the smallest, and then it looks like 15, then 16, then 26, then 32, and then another 32. And what you do is count from each end to find the middle. So 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. And then if you go from here to here, you're right in between the 16 and 26. So if you don't land on an actual number, you add those two numbers together and divide by 2. So 26 plus 16 is 42 divided by 2. So your median would be 21 again. And then the mode is the one that occurs the most. So sometimes you have a mode, sometimes you have more than one mode. It all depends on the numbers. And the only one I see repeated more than once is 32. So the mode would be 32. So for the ages, the mode is 32. The median and the mean are both 21. So the middle age is 21. And then the mean is also 21. And just as a side note, the range would be the range of the numbers. So you would take the highest minus the smallest. So 32 minus 5, the range would be 27. So the people's ages range from 5 to 32. They range over 27 years. All right, let's find the mean, median, and mode for the following quiz scores. So the mean, mean, you're going to add them up. And then sometimes people mix them up because all these things start with an M. I always think of the mean as the one that makes you angry because there's so much work to do. So you feel very mean. Adding up all these scores. And it doesn't matter the order. I'm just going to go in the order that they're written. So you're adding them all up. Running out of space. Plus 14, plus 20. And then I want to make sure how many I have. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now if you put that into your calculator, 20 plus 12 plus 15 plus 7 plus 18 plus 15 plus 18 plus 19.5 plus 14 plus 20. So I get 158.5. I'm going to divide by 10. And you get 15.85 is the mean or the average. Median is the middle number. Hardest part about this is just putting them in order. Not that that's difficult, but it's just making sure that you have all the numbers. So 7, 4, whoops, I almost forgot 12, 14, 15, 18, 18, 19.5, and then 2 20s. So then you count from each end. And this one they land in the middle, but 18 plus 18 divided by 2 is just going to be 18. So the median is 18. The mode, oh, I forgot another 15. Let me fix that. All right, so I'm redoing the median, and I've had to rewrite it several times because I left a number off. So, okay, first and last, second and second to the last, and then so on. And so I end up between the 15 and the 18. So if I add those and divide by 2, that would be 33 divided by 2. So you end up with 16.5. So that would be the middle score. So it's like you take a little average there. The mode, we have a 20. We have another 20, there's 2 18s, there's 2 15s. Otherwise, nothing else is repeated. So you have 3 modes. You have a mode of 15, 18, and 20, because that occurs more than any others. Now, you could also say, because there isn't one like specific leader above that, then maybe you want to say, well, I don't really have a mode. But because it occurs more than once, and we're talking about quiz scores, we would think of it as 15, 18, and 20. It's like they're all tied. All right. Measures of central tendency, some of them are better in some places than others. So the mean is good when you don't have any outliers. So if I'm looking at quiz scores It's hard to give an average if somebody did really, really poorly or one or two people did really, really excellently and compared to everybody else. So it kind of ruins the average then, or the mean. Median is good when there are outliers, because that'll tell you where everybody's kind of clustered at, the middle score. The mode, that's good when data has many repeated numbers. So say for quizzes, because you only get, say for my quizzes, you're going from 0 to 20. It's very common to have a mode of like 18, because most people are getting 18 out of 20. So half the class could get an 18 out of 20. So it just kind of depends, but some are better than others. So a couple problems on your homework will say which one is best to use for this situation. All right, this one says select the appropriate measure of central tendency to describe the data in the table and justify your reasoning. Oops, I thought the answer was typed there. So you go from 0 up to 140. It has quite a range, but notice there's a bit of a cluster here between 60 and all the way up to 140. 10 is kind of an outlier. So if you don't have an outlier, the median would probably be best because of the outliers. So because of Whisper being so much smaller. So there's a couple problems like this on your homework, and you just need to be able to justify your answer. All right, your homework. Follow any directions you were given in class.